Good evening, everybody. Oh, I'm looking the wrong way, am I? Yeah, okay. Welcome to another episode of the Fishing Channel Regional Fishing Report. I'm excited about this one. We have someone from Blackwater's Edge, Eastern Shore, coming on tonight, Gary. If any of you are familiar with Gary, they run their podcast usually, Blackwater's Edge. So we're going to be talking to him in a minute. But first, I have some exciting announcements to make. Tonight's winner, question of the evening winner, will receive $25 off Hook Optics glasses. I'm sure you hear us talk about it all the time. They are one of our awesome sponsors. We wear the glasses when we're going fishing. Sometimes we wear them when we're out. I have a nice pair, and this is what really got me about Hook Optics, because it's really hard to find a nice pair of feminine fishing glasses. So they do have these amazing, oh, they're in pink too. I grabbed the right ones. So for any ladies who are watching, who enjoy fishing, this is actually dual purpose. It's fashion and fishing. We also obviously have several men's awesome polarized, and these are polarized as well. So really great for fishing, protecting your eyes from the harmful UV rays of the sun, also seeing the fish really well too. So I really enjoy wearing these glasses. We both do, and we do appreciate our sponsors at Hook Optics. What else we got going on? So it's question of the evening. We also have a new announcement about what's going on with the Fishing Channel. For those who are watching Instagram Live, if you're watching YouTube, if you're watching Facebook, we appreciate you chiming in. So we are offering an exclusive members only access. So we're going to have some additional content that we actually already starting to get rolled in from just about everybody who's been on our show, I think. So we have Cambo Trout, we have Captain Massa out of Georgia. We even have us. We're going to be doing some tackle tips, some additional live feeds that will not be shown through our regular YouTube channel or on Facebook or on Instagram. So I'm really excited about this. So how do you get this access? So you go to our YouTube channel, the Fishing Channel YouTube channel, and next to the word subscribe, which I hope you all have already subscribed, you go to join. And for $5 a month, you will get all this amazing content that again, is not open to the public. And again, starring some of your favorite people from our show. So I'm really excited to have this launch. It's going to be great. I'm excited about this. Yeah. So for all of you who've been watching us, if you're new, we definitely appreciate the support and keeping this channel rolling, because we're going to pump out some really great new content. We have a lot of things in the works. So hi, Rodney. Nice to see you again. But before we get into everything else, we also have one more cool announcement. So usually the question of the evening will get maybe a GI jig and a BKD, but the owner of GI Jigs, one of our sponsors, has been so generous and has offered a free coupon code to everybody who watches our show. So you can go to gijigs.com, order your own jigs, and get 10% off. That is a really cool deal, especially if you love using GI jigs. You're going to get more than one. You're going to definitely need more than one. So again, it is 10% off. The discount code is TFC. TFC. You have to put that in order to get that discount. All right. So we're going to roll back into the regional fishing report. We're going to pull Gary in. Hey, Gary.
Anastasia, how are you?
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So the intro photo is actually us together the last time I saw you.
Oh, yeah.
That's a while ago.
It's been a long time.
That was really fun. It was in location unknown.
Yeah.
For snakehead, and I caught a citation bass instead. That was awesome. Really had a good time with you. Amazing scenery back there. It was just a really great time. So it's really great to see you again, Gary.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
So
talked to Grant today. That was good. I hadn't talked to him for a while.
Yeah, you almost look unfamiliar. You've changed so much. You look
Yeah,
like
I haven't had a beard in like 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, I was telling Grant the last time I had a beard, it was black. So it's kind of Santa Claus on me now, but
No, it looks very refined. You look like an actor.
thank you. Yeah, I'm down. I'm outside of Cambridge, down at Long Wharf, which is right on the river, and I needed to get somewhere I'd have better internet access. It's not so good at my house, so I
Oh,
came down here. I spent a lot of time down here when I was a kid. My dad used to bring me down here fishing. It's actually now if you come down here, right to my left is you can fish and it's free. You don't have to have a license or anything. There's a little boardwalk here, and there's probably 3 or 4 people out there fishing now.
oh, that
But
sounds
I
like,
spent a lot of time out here when I was a kid.
wow. Those are really great memories. Night fishing sounds fun. I have yet to do that. We should do that. Crazy horse. So I'd like to get right into the fishing report. What do you have to share with us from the Eastern Shore and where you are?
Well, it's warm. It's kind of unseasonably warm now, really. And the fish are biting. I had a friend of mine went this past Sunday, and I think they caught almost 60 perch, big
Wow.
perch on minnows, just tore them up. And I usually this time of year I'm already hunting by now. I'm not really fishing, but I went last Wednesday, and we went snakehead, and we caught 4.
Mhm.
Um, Landed 2. I left my net home and didn't have anything but a minnow net, and I
Ah,
caught one that was probably 30 inches, and they won't fit in a minnow net. I can tell you that much.
gosh.
So that one got off, but we landed 2 and had a great time. It's and it's a little too warm for me to really get into hunting right now, so I'm probably going to go a couple times this weekend. It's just it's warm enough to go, and I'm going to go.
That's fun. That's on
Yeah,
my list. Definitely want to get out there and go hunting.
yeah, and I've been back on the Blackwater a lot lately. Blackwater Refuge had a mentored hunt for people who want to learn how to hunt that have never hunted before, and I was part of that. So I was back on the river and ran into Justin Airing back there. I don't think he'd been fishing long, so he hadn't gotten anything yet. That was on Sunday. Saturday, I was back there and ran into a couple fellows in a little John boat back there, and they'd caught 2, caught one on a chatterbait and one on I think he said a buzzbait. So
Okay. What size you mentioned perch earlier? What sizes are you seeing with the perch where you are?
these were like pound perch, nice big perch. He
Nice.
called me, and actually I called him that afternoon, and he had a young fellow with him, and they were cleaning them. He told me, "We're going to be a while. We got a lot of them." I think he told me they caught like 50, and
Wow.
they've been catching like in some of the creeks where just the small creeks that run through, and the tide runs through pretty hard.
Right.
They've been catching some really nice striped bass in there.
Oh,
That's
wow.
on like little spinner baits or little jigs, anything like that. And I think some swim baits too.
Wow. There's like a smorgasbord of fish available over there.
Yeah,
So great sized perch, bass, and snakehead.
yeah, and bass. Well, bass are limited now, but there's still a few of them. Fellow that I was working today, and the fellow where I was working, he took his bass boat out and went over to Salisbury Johnson's Pond. And I think he caught 2 pickerel and 1 bass. It kind of had a slow day. He said it was beautiful. They just couldn't find the fish.
Yeah. And that happen. And like you said, it's a beautiful day. We really just enjoy, like today, Grant and I, we were out on the water, didn't have any luck, but it was beautiful out. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
what I found back in the Blackwater, there's a few places back there that has some hard bottom in it, and that's where we seem to do better. Because there's a lot of mud, but the hard bottom it's shallow, and it's good hard bottom. It heats up pretty quick, and the water, of course, the water's fairly warm now anyway. But you get these days like today when it gets up to 65, 68 degrees, that water will heat up to 75. So
So
it's
what does that mean for fishing? And I ask this because we have a lot of viewers who may be new to fishing and not familiar with your area either. So what is the mud and the temperature? How does that work together for fishing?
Well, it's not just the Blackwater. There's the whole series, all the mainly brackish water down here, the Transquakin River, the Chickawacomica, they're all very dark water, and it heats up fast. And most of them are shallow. The Transquakin and the Chickawacomica are a little deeper than the Blackwater. Blackwater basically is about a 2.5 foot deep river There's some spots in it that are a little deeper, but for the major part of it, if it were 100 acres, 90 acres of it would be 2 to 3 feet deep. So it heats up relatively quick, especially on the shoreline, because then you're only talking about anywhere from 8 to 16 inches deep. And you get a day like today when the sun's out in the afternoon, that water temperature will get up to 65, 75 degrees or more. And the fish, which is mainly snakeheads in the Blackwater, there's some bass and stuff in there, but not many, will come and feed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they'll get right up on the shore, and if you use them minnows, I use this time of year, I'll use like a smaller buzz bait. The bigger ones that you can't really crank them slow enough to get them interested in it, but the small ones do really well. Those and like the other little I'm trying to think who makes them. They're it's a little minnow with a little spinner on the back, like a dart, and we've done really good with those. It's not my favorite lure. I'm kind of a buzzbait guy. I like to have a good strike, but it's a little late in the year for getting that. That's kind of April, May thing.
Yeah, Stephen Camboris, who I'm sure you're familiar with, says,
Oh
"Hey
yeah,
Gary, good tip." I was going to say this too. Good tip on the smaller buzzbait. Love that pattern.
yeah, they do. I've done really well with them this time of year. I don't usually fish this time of year, but when I have, the those smaller baits seem to do better. I think the fish just they're not as fast, or they are really, but they just don't want to
Mm.
move and really strike like they do when the water's warmer. So you got to slow it down a little bit. And those little buzz baits are great for that. You crank them, they'll almost stop, and they're still spinning.
Yeah, I think that speaks to the knowledge that you have. You know, knowing your fish, knowing their habits, knowing their temperament, even sometimes can really get you on some good fish. So I want to actually take a pause for a minute because you are just such a wealth of knowledge and experience. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal history on Blackwater?
Oh yeah, I grew up in Church Creek, which is 3 miles from Blackwater. But my dad worked night shift, and he took my brother and I fishing pretty much every weekend. If it was warm enough to be fishing somewhere, we fished,
Mhm.
and we fished the Blackwater a lot. And we would go down there, and there would be fellas would come down with little john boats and stuff and put them over where the soft launch is. It wasn't a soft launch then, but they just put them in there and go back in the river, and they'd come back with loads of crappie and bass, and I wanted to go in there so bad. And I think I was like 14, so I'm 68 now, so it's been a while back. But that was my first trip back there. I was like 14 years old, and I countless times since that I've been back there and fished. But it's just an awesome river, even if you don't fish. It's just take a kayak and go back there sometime. It's just absolutely beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful river. I mean, you've been there with me, and it's 8 miles of river with no houses on it, and
Yeah.
it's all nature. Just a wonderful place.
It is very beautiful. I've been at different points on Blackwater, and every part of it is unique and beautiful, and just the wildlife, aside from obviously snakehead and the other fish, amazing to fish for in that water. But it was just a great experience.
And
Um,
it's changed in the last 50 years from what it was when I first went back there to what it is now. You wouldn't even recognize it. It's totally changed. When
what
you
is?
when you well, when you go back the river, there's a lot of stumps sticking up out of the water on the points.
Mhm.
When I went back there, they were trees and little islands.
Oh wow, yeah.
Then the water has. I don't think the water's really risen. I think the land's actually sunk. But over the years, there's once the water gets on top of them, then the water washes the dirt away, and the trees fall over and die. Most of them don't fall over; they just rot and break off. So the stumps are sticking up out of the water. But yeah, a lot of, and it was lily pads from. There's a footbridge back there. From the footbridge back, you couldn't even get in there hardly with a canoe back then, and that's all gone now. There's no lily pads there at all.
Yeah, I actually had the pleasure of fishing in Virginia with also a snakehead fisherman, a woman, Lori, and we had to talk about the lily pads. Actually, I'm hoping we'll get a gentleman on the show who's involved in the environmental conservation of these areas and can speak more to what's going on there. But we do have a question from Brian. Any color preference on the buzzbait this time of year?
I'm a big believer. I don't do all the purples and the greens and all that stuff. I'm pretty much, if it's a cloudy day, I will use white. If it's early morning, I'll use white. Once the sun comes up, I'm pretty much chartreuse. And the water's so dark, the dark colors. I mean, and people catch them. I've caught them on darker colors, red especially. I guess it shows up a little better,
Hmm.
but pretty much chartreuse and white. It's just when the sun's bright, I use chartreuse because it doesn't show up quite as bright in the water. And then when it's a little darker outside, then I use white.
Great tip. Great question, Brian. Thank you. I also want to talk briefly as we're going through kind of the fishing report here, a little bit more to educate our viewers who don't know who you are. Can you tell us a little bit about Blackwater's Edge, the podcast, the team, just a little bit about it to give the audience some education
Yeah.
about
So Kaz Kenny, probably everybody that's listening now knows who he is. He's a he's been a big voice in the snakehead community. Some people think good, some people think bad. That's your choice. But he's very outspoken about the fact of what in our river. There's other estuaries that are totally different, but the impact that it's made on the Blackwater River is phenomenal. It's took a fishery that was wonderful for bass and crappie and bluegills, and pretty much decimated as far as I can tell.
it?
I mean, you were with me. The bass that you catch now are 5, 6 pound, and that's it. There's no 1 pound. There's no 2 pound bass. They're just not there anymore.
Oh, okay.
They, they've either eaten or they've left, one of the two, but they're not there. Crappie aren't there anymore. You catch a few perch in there, but the migratory perch don't come in much anymore, and it's totally changed. Eddie owns Wolfer's store, and
Hmm.
the three of us got together. God, I guess it's been almost 4 years ago now, and decided to start doing a podcast. And I think we were just at 100 episodes, and this last year has been kind of a crazy year. I had a couple uncles that I've looked after for a long time and lost both of them. One in November, one in April.
I'm sorry.
Kaz's mom took sick, and she's just passed away here just a short time ago.
Yeah, we're
So it kind of broke the podcast up for a little while, but we're certainly planning on getting back together and doing some more. It's fun.
It
Have a
is
great time.
fun. I look so forward to that. We actually have some great questions rolling in. So Rodney Green, how about using worms and night crawlers for fish in the warming water? What do you think?
Catfish. There's a lot of channel cats in there, and there's some old mud cats. Don't Very seldom do you ever see a blue cat in Blackwater. It's just not enough oxygen in the water for them. They just don't seem to be there. But yeah, I mean, catfish love worms, and there's also carp will grab them too,
Oh,
and perch. If there's any small perch around, they'll grab them.
yeah. We have another question that disappeared. Or no more questions? Okay. Oh, Cambo. Okay, here we go. Blackwater on a calm day at sunrise. Not sure if that can be beat. What do you think?
Oh, I'll tell you, Anastasia, I've probably taken in the last couple of years over 100, 150 people back in the Blackwater River. Actually, I've got some folks that I'm going to take back this weekend. It doesn't matter if you're fishing. It doesn't even matter to catch anything. It's moonlight is better. If you get a full moon and you're coming out of there and there's no wind, there's nothing like it. You don't even need to have lights on the boat. You can go out the river through the moonlight. It's just absolutely wonderful. But yeah, it's hard to beat. It's just a pretty place to be.
It is
All
beautiful.
kinds of wildlife. I mean, it's nothing to go back there and see 20, 25 eagles in 4 or 5 mile stretch of the river.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful out there. I totally agree. But nothing beat us flying up on your boat launch. Nothing that beat that.
Yeah,
So y'all who don't
that's a lot
know,
of fun.
when we were
Get a lot
pulling
of
in,
comments about that too.
let me share this really quickly because we have to do question of the evening. But when we pulled in after going fishing that day, Grant just left me in the boat with you, and then you turn to me and you're like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Ready for what?" And then we go flying full speed into the launch to get your boat up, and that was the best. The whole day was great, but that was the best.
Yeah, that's a great end to a trip when you do that.
Is my life in danger? No, it was a great time. So I think we talked to you about this briefly when we talked behind the scenes. So we do question of the evening. We've had about, 3 questions tonight?
Yeah, questions are, we have.
Hold on one sec. So
Brian and Rodney.
there it is. Thank you. Oh, so we had Rodney Green who asked about the worms in the nightcrawler. We had Brian, any color preference on buzzbaits this time of year?
That's it.
Okay, so you have your choice between 2. For question of the evening, who will win $25 off Hooked Optics, who is our sponsor of any polarized fishing glasses from their store. So who do you choose for question of the evening, Gary?
The buzzbait question, because color is an important thing to a lot of people. If you're in clear water, it's real important. The darker the water, the less importance it is.
Well, congratulations, Brian. Reach out to us at the admin at thefishingchannel.net. Grant's going to put it in the chat as well to give us your address so we can make sure you get your certificate. You know, I really appreciate everyone who's logged in tonight on Instagram, on Facebook and YouTube, and all of the great questions that we had. I appreciate you, Gary. I look forward to doing this more with you.
This is fun.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice to get back and talk a little bit about fishing and stuff. So
yeah, we have so much to talk about on what's going on your side of the world there. So
you guys need to come down and go for a boat ride with me. We got a new boat, so
yes,
it's a lot nicer than the other one.
Only if we get to fly the boat up on the launch again.
Oh, that's the only way to go. I'm not gonna pull it up there. We gotta run it up there.
I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much, Gary. Really appreciate you. Everyone, thank you so much. Grant's going to be coming back for the next regional fishing report, so we'll see you in a few. What's that?
It's you with Cambo.
Oh, it's me. Okay, that's right. We switch up. I get to go again with Cambo.
Tell Cambo I said hi.
Yes. Well, have a great night, Gary. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. See you in a few.
Yep. Thank you.